talking about your plans, your dreams, or your, best case scenario, a good idea or a bad idea. All right. So most people actually, I'll talk about the both sides from my own end. All right. Watu wengi wanasemanga talking about what you want to do, or what you want to achieve, or your plans, or your goals is a bad idea. Alright? What's the bad idea? Alright. According to me, I'll tell you why uh, it's a bad idea or not a bad idea. So, the first thing here is people say it's not a good idea to talk about that. And the reason they say it's not a good idea is they say that they will, people will find a way to cut you off, right? Do something that will prevent you from getting it, and the chances that you will not get it are very high when you talk about it. When you don't talk about it compared to when you talk about it. All right, so they normally say, don't say it. What you want to do it in silence. Let the results speak. Blah blah blah. I mean, I don't know anybody who has done a research and came up with the p-value of less than 0.005 to say do not reject the null value, right? The null hypothesis rather, right? It's just these are these things which has been traded in the street, but I feel like the other way around is a better way to look at it. I'll give you my point here, all right? When you talk about what you want to achieve, number one, that means you're speaking your mind, right? They normally say you speak to manifest, right? So when you speak about it, it becomes more clear in your head what you exactly want, right? And then you start looking for ways of achieving it, right? You start looking at who has that thing. You can speak to someone about it, like, hey, I want to do this project. They'll be like, oh, how much time do you have? How much resources do you have? You give them an answer. You ask him, who do you know has this tool or resources, right? Then you can approach that person, akwambie nilianzia hapa na hapa na hapa nikafanya hivi na hivi na hivi, challenges ni hapa na hapa na hapa. That's one. Number two, kuna pressure. There's pressure from your friends or colleagues that you've talked about. Because every time you meet, akwambia, hey, ile kazi imefika wapi? Na I'm like, oh, nimesukuma nifika hapa, nahitaji hii na hii na hii. Anakwambia, umepata? Naambia, I'm working on it. Unaambia, naweza pata from you. He's like, sina, but I know somebody who can give us that information or that tool or that resource, right? So once you have that, hakuna kugongwa, right? Because now you're dealing with the right information. Because they normally say, get information from the right people, from the right experts, right? People who have done it, people who know what it takes to get that thing. Because if you work with people who work on speculation and what they heard, they've never really done it, the chances that you will get it twisted are very high. I'll give you an example. In a situation whereby you want to purchase a vehicle, right? You tell someone, hey, I want to buy a car, right? They'll be like, okay, what kind? So they start giving you their own perspective of what they think. They'll be like, oh, gari mzuri ni ile, hajafunguliwa engine, sijui haijaenda mileage mingi, sijui hajapigwa rangi, hajaigongeshwa, blah blah blah. But then you look at that person, that's enough. That thing is never going through that process. It's just something is been hearing from other people. On the other hand, when you actually meet the person who have actually gone through, you ask him, hey, niaje poa sana, nice car. Where do you buy it? Atakwambia nilitoa Mombasa, or I bought from someone. Naambia, why did you buy from? How did you get that person kwanza? Anakwambia, okay, I told a friend of mine who had his uncle whose son was doing this and this and this. So through those connections and trustworthiness, that's how we got there. Anakwambia it was how much? Anakwambia it was this amount. Did you pay everything in cash? Nasema I didn't pay everything in cash. Mulielewanaje? Nilimwambia tu give me some time, kampatie this amount, nini. Those are the real people who have actually done it. But the other way around, someone will be like, no, deni ni mbaya, utavurutiwa gari, sijui nini. Naambia wewe umevurutiwa ngapi? Not one. But they just fear, and they want to project their fear on you, right? So for me, I'm trying to say that, I mean, speaking out your mind actually makes things a bit clearer, because after when you meet someone or a colleague, right, there's a point of conversation. Hey, niaje poa, habari ya leo mzuri, ile kazi imefika wapi? Nakwambia, did you achieve this? No. Unahitaji nini? Namwambia. So the notion of hiding things, I feel like for me is a no, because most people are magongo because they didn't speak about it. Mtu anakuambia, oh, you know, I met someone who told me you can import this. You know, I send him the money. That thing never arrived. Even majamaa wenye who have purchased property without telling their parents or their siblings or their friends, right? Mtu kaambia kuna kitabu inauzwa, usiambie mtu. Shh. Anything ungeambiwa tu, usiambie mtu. Hiyo ni kugongwa as a scam. Look at these properties yenye you've been hearing people being evicted because they don't have title deeds. When you look back at the story, it's like, oh, this shamba we bought in 2015 was being sold for 200,000, 300,000, which was not a lot of money at the time, right? But if you ask the person, ulimwambia nani, did you bring your neighbors along with you? No, they didn't. They were just hiding stuff. Now things imelipuka, and they want to be sympathized with, you know, not their victims. But when you have a group of people, you share with them like, hey guys, I know someone who told me he's selling this property or this asset, right? What do you think? Wait a minute, I know a friend who has been conned in a way, or hiyo shamba iko na kesi, oh hiyo gari na logbook, oh hiyo gari imegongeshwa, oh hiyo gari iko na kesi, oh hiyo shamba iko na kesi, atakusaidia. But stories za kujifichia and just doing things on your own, you end up, number one, doing it in a very sketchy way because you're not involving the experts, right? And for me, I always look at, you know, if you want to build something or you want to buy something, look for someone who has actually done it, and then akupatia factors to be considered before purchasing it. Atakusaidia you get a better project or a better product at not necessarily a cheaper price, but the right price, right? Because when you don't tell people, then there's no reference point. I mean, that's where research comes in. You go online. Kwa mfano, when it comes to vehicles, you go on gg.com, right? You look at brand new cars, yeah, 2017, 2018, 2014, 2015, right? Brand new cars. You can just look at second-hand vehicles, right? And you can compare the prices. And then you're a guy who's selling a car down here in the street. Now you have a reference point. A car is 2014 model. You're selling it for 1 million. I've seen a 2016 model being sold at 1.1, right? Or 1.2, right? I think the other one is a better deal than yours. Now, unaanza kunegotiate na kwambia uliona wapi hapa, na mwambie you pull up your phone or your computer, unamwonyesha, naambia you can pull up also a showroom in Mombasa, Nairobi. You know, those prices are pretty decent and very fair. Naambia sasa, you know, instead of going for second hand, maybe it's better to go for a brand new car, because it's a brand new car. As long as it's possible to get it, why not? Haina issues ya engines juu kufunguliwa, or spare parts haven't been changed, blah blah blah. You know, so you have a point of discussion where by the end of the day you look at what's positive, what's negative, right? So back to my point, stories za kushare information is very critical. And that's why I always come to these, you know, watu wa diaspora, they do their own things chini ya maji. Gongo anasema, oh, you know, I had my cousin, I told you this, I told you that. You know, you should have involved more people so that if something doesn't go right, you know, there may be people who could have seen it gone wrong and warekebishe. And then on top of that, you can call that person and be, hey, check, counter check for me, right? For quality control. Angalia if that thing is being done well or not. Bring other people on board, because I mean, from my own experience, I've learned that having more people overseeing the same project helps you to have a different perspectives, have the right thing, making sure that what you're hearing from the first person and the third person and the fifth person is the same information, and you will tell who is lying, right? So yeah, share. Ambia mtu, I want to get this and this and this. Give them your timeline. And then next time you meet, akambia, hey, ulifika wapi? Nakupea more pressure. And then it keeps things more exciting. Next time it's gonna be him being like, hey, I know you did this. Ulifika hapa. Uli outsource wapi this and this. Otherwise, that's what's up. Yeah.